bought a BMW Superbike that cost $22,000 for just $15,000 out the door. I'm going to show you how you can do it in your own life. It doesn't matter if you're negotiating motorcycles, ATVs, real estate. This is going to be the same exact idea throughout the line. Now, first of all, if you haven't said thank you for today, that you have air in your lungs, you haven't been grateful, let's take a moment to say thank you that you have air in your lungs, you're alive, you got your legs and food in your tummy and stuff like that, because it really helps you get your day started correctly, okay? Now, talking about positivity, the way I got this deal is before I even got my motorcycle license, I had in my mind, in my heart of hearts, that I'm gonna have a BMW. But not only am I gonna have a BMW, I'm gonna have an exotic BMW, okay, motorcycle. I'll try to put the picture of my bike here. So anyways, before I even knew how to drive a motorcycle, so I went and took my motorcycle driver license. I passed, and the very first bike that I bought was a Kawasaki Ninja 250cc, because I knew that I didn't want to buy that a really high motorcycle, because I'd never rode on a motorcycle before and I didn't want to kill myself, right? So after I trained on that Kawasaki 250 for a minute, then I start pursuing for that BMW. So I went to the BMW dealership in Plano, Texas, and they has a lot of cool, beautiful bikes, including the Ducatis. And I looked at them and I'm like, no, this is not it. Then I went to the BMW in Fort Worth in Euless, and boy, right then and there, I saw this most beautiful motorcycle. It looked so sassy. It had yellow rims. I mean, just it was like one of a kind. And literally, there was only a few of these made, and it cost $22,000 plus tax, plus registration and accessories, right? And the one thing I forgot to tell you, that I got the bike fully loaded for $15,000 out the door. And I'll go into how I did that. So anyways, I fell in love with it. You know, at that time I had my businesses. I had $22,000 plus the tax registration ready to go, give to the guy cash. But as you know, something like my butt always is burning. Like, let me see if I can negotiate this thing down, right? And you know, I approached the manager. I said, I want to speak to the manager, and I said, hey, I'm going to pay cash. I want to buy this bike. Let's key it up and see how many miles is on there. And we did, and there was literally no miles on it. It was like spanking new, 0 miles. Like, man, it was awesome, dude. It was like the best, beautiful bike ever. Everywhere I went, people were complimenting me on it. It was like the super bike. That exact bike, I ended up racing like in California on Highway 1, a Lambo, and I just smoked it, dude. That bike went from 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. It was extremely fast. It would even beat Ferraris, right? And I'm talking about, I had all my luggages and stuff like that. I was just traveling on Highway 66 from Texas to California, and it was a beautiful trip. But anyways, going back to the car dealership, the motorcycle dealership, the BMW motorcycle dealership, I told the manager that I want to buy this thing, and you know, I want to get a discount. And he was like, no, we don't do discounts on these kind of vehicles. They're just priced as is, plus blah blah blah. Plus, he looked up in his computer, there's like no other BMW of this specific specs anywhere around here, which I already knew because I went to the other location. So I was like, okay, all right, thank you so much. And I got his email, and then I went home and I started a negotiation process, right? So I started beating him up. So the guy told me like, hey, we don't negotiate this thing. I beat him all the way down to $20,000, right? And I still didn't want to pull on the trigger, right, via email. So then over a span of, I would say, 1 month, I would go to the dealership and I would beat the manager up again and again and again and again and again. So I got him all the way down to $18,000 out the door, right? But somehow something told me inside of my heart that $15,000 cash out the door, including the tax registration, is the best price that I can do. And I was sticking to my gun. I was like, no, this is what I can do. Anyway, so after almost a month of negotiation with this guy, going to the dealership like almost like a couple of times a week, and just becoming like bringing them pizza and just becoming friends with them, I got to learn the guy's schedule. after like almost the 4th week, I knew the manager was going to go out of town on vacation for a week or two. And I was like, yes, right? And anyways, because at that time, like, you know, he was going to go out and he was going to be gone. And I had made friends with the mechanics. I had made friends with the sales reps. I mean, I was always bringing them food, and you know, because this was like my dream bike, bro. And they were the only one of the few ones that had this bike, plus the way that it was loaded. For example, it had like seat warmers and hand grip warmers, and I mean, it was a fully loaded bike, man. It was like one of the best, beautiful bikes ever. I even had a Ducati, and I would put this BMW way above that Ducati, because it was so much more smoother. It was so powerful. It was a 1200 cc motorcycle. It was extremely, guys, like, you know, like a Suzuki Hayabusa, whatever, I can't remember the name. It was like 1000 cc. So this was like 1200 cc. It was even more powerful than the fastest Japanese bike out there. I mean, it was a super bike. Anyways, the manager went on vacation, and I knew exactly that he was going on vacation. So the next day that he went on vacation, guess what? I went and bought some pizza, and I went to my bank and I pulled out $15,000 cash, right? And I went into the BMW motorcycle shop, because it's like a, you know, a small. It wasn't like, it's not like one of these car dealerships where they're humongous. Especially in Fort Worth. And I went up there and I brought the food, and I talked to the sales guy, and I was like, hey man, I'm ready to do this deal. I got $15,000 cash. And he looked up his notes and he said, man, the manager says the best we can do on this deal is $18,000. And then I started negotiating with the sales rep, right? I was like, bro, he's out of town. I got the cash here. You know, let's do this deal. I got a deal. And I just kept telling him, let's do it. Here's the money. I put the money on the table. It's like, it's yours, bro. You know, let's do it. And dude, the guy literally gave in to me, right? So literally I paid $15,000, and I got this beautiful BMW Superbike that was limited runs, yellow rims, fully loaded with the bags. I mean, it was, each of the bags were like $1,200, you know. It was just the most beautiful negotiation. Now, it took me over a month to get this deal, right? But there was consequences with that, because once the manager came back, he literally called me and he was fucking pissed off, right? And he told me, hey, do not bring your bicycle to our shop anymore for maintenance and warranty. And literally I had to get an attorney to hit him up, because there's only 2 dealerships in my city, the Plano one and the Fort Worth one, which was in Euless. But man, my attorney said after he took my money, he was like, bro, you know, just go to the Plano, man, because we really can't make them take it. If there's only one, then maybe, but we can't. And I was like, man, so even though I got a smoking good deal, right, like the best deal ever, I, you know, probably didn't leave any room on the table for them to make any money, or they even might have lost money, because literally I bought the bike for 69%, which is like 31% off. I bought the bike 31% off of MSRP, and it was fully loaded with a bunch of accessories on it. So anyways, guys, so the manager said, hey, don't come back anymore, bro. Ever come back to our shop anymore. We're not going to do any warranty work. We're not going to do. I was like, holy shit, dude. But thank God there was another location in Fort Worth. The manager's name was Marvin, if I'm not mistaken. And he was a really good cat too, and we started doing business with him. It was not a big deal, actually. That location was even closer to me, because at that time I lived in Plano, and the only reason I drive to freaking Fort Worth is because they had a one-of-a-kind bike that I couldn't find anywhere else. So anyways, this is how I got a $22,000 Superbike BMW, right, fully loaded, plus tax and registration. I didn't do any of that. Just did $15,000 out the door, and the way I did it is, number one, I knew exactly what I wanted. Before I even got my motorcycle license, I knew I'm gonna have an exotic BMW bike, right? Number two, once I found what I wanted, I didn't keep shopping for other stuff. Like, I didn't go shop for Ducati, I didn't go shop for this, I didn't go shop. I do exactly what I wanted. Like, when I found it, I knew, hey, this is my dream bike. Even though I've never seen it before, this is it. So instantly I went into number three, into the negotiation. And, you know, even though that there was no inventory or limited inventory on this motorcycle, and I would have to drive to maybe 2 or 3 different states or even California to pick something up like this, because it's limited runs, I was able to negotiate because I was patient. I waited 1 month. I brought these guys pizza. Now, some people say, well, Mike, you lost some money on the pizza because, you know, I brought a multiple pizza. Yes. But consider how much I got to save on a big ticket item. The pizzas made it only cost me $100, right? So think about it. So to invest $100 to save 31% off of $22,000 is a big chunk of money. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, $7,000, not including all the other junk fees that dealers charge. So I got to save at least $7,000 to $10,000 because of all the other junk fees they charge, like dealer fees. And if you ever guys bought any cars from a car dealership, you know how they do it. Anyway, so the other important thing was that to have the cash or the financing ready to go, because it's always difficult, even for me. You know, when I'm trying to do a deal, I'm firm. Let's say I'm selling my bike or I'm selling a real estate, I'm firm on it, right? But if someone comes down and drops the cash right in front of me, it's hard because that greed, that ego, it's kind of like having a bird in the hand, you know? Like you have that bird in your hand, you want to let that bird go for another bird or 2 bird possibility. And that's what helps you realize that once someone drops the cash right in your freaking hand, it becomes extremely tempting to say no, right? Because you literally have a sell, dude. And you know, you want to make sales, right? As a sales guy or as an entrepreneur, as a real estate investor, you want to make sales. Or at whatever you want to negotiate, that other person was trying to make a sell off you. So by understanding that, feeding into their greed, by putting that money in front of him, putting it literally in his hand, helps him to feed his greed and him to agree. And then eventually he probably got punished or whatever, but either way, I still got the deal. You know what I mean? And that's the key. Okay. Now, was I a cheapskate? Yes, I was a cheapskate. I had the money to pay for the dude for his motorcycle at the fair market price. But, you know, as a refugee to America, you know, as someone that buys real estate, I always like to practice my, you know, negotiation skills, right? Now, for example, if I'm walking down the street and there's a guy selling corn, I'm not going to negotiate on that guy, bro. You know, I'm going to give him like $3 tips or whatever, you know, extra. But I'm talking about big corporate America, big franchises. You know, I'm buying a $100,000 Mercedes. Hell yeah, I'm going to negotiate. I'm buying a fucking Superbike. Hell yeah, I'm going to negotiate. I always negotiate big ticket items, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? And if you don't, you're crazy. Okay, so make sure you have the financing ready to go. Even if it's like hard money lending or someone private money lending or even your own cash, it's good to not say, look, I have the cash. No, show up with it in that bag. Boom, here's the cash, bro. Here, out of your wallet, here's the cash right on the table. Let's do the deal, dude. I'm ready to buy it. You know what I mean? Okay. And the other thing is I want to talk about is, like, I know I hit on this 1 second, but I want to make sure you guys get it. Patience is the most important thing, dude. If you don't have patience, right, you can't get good deals. I don't care if you're talking about houses or if you're talking about motorcycles. How's it going, guys? If you want to get good deals, it requires patience, okay? I can tell you this one example of a real estate deal that I did, okay, where the seller bought a house, well, actually it was a condo, and sight unseen. She lived in California, they bought it in Dallas, and when they got here, they were scared to live in it because of the surrounding. There were Asians, and everywhere around that community was all black people. So they were like literally scared to live in it, right? And so, you know, she messaged me. I did everything like I told her I was going to do. I said, hey, I'm going to give you an offer in writing in less than 24 hours. I did. And she said, come take a look at the property, because she was very motivated. So I did, because it was right around my office, you know. So I went up there and I take a look at it. Actually, it was right around my one of my rental properties, not my office, sorry. So I went out there and I looked at it. It was right around like White Rock Lake in Dallas. So I went out there and looked at it. And, you know, she seemed like she was going to give me the deal, but she said, you know what, Mike, I am going to go shop this around with a couple other investors. I say, you know what, absolutely, do what you got to do, right? And then instantly I put her in my follow-up system where now I am emailing her, we're sending them letters. Now, if you want my emails, my follow-up emails, or my letters, go to my realestatedojo.com and download them totally for free, guys. Click on start. It's all in there. So anyways, I start doing the follow-up stuff with her, and then she hits me up and she says, look, I got a couple other investors that are interested. They're even going to give me more money. Here's their contract they sent to me, but I'm going to go with you. And one of the reasons she went with me is because I was patient, right? I wasn't trying to push her and like, oh, come on, man, let's do this deal, bro. Let's do this deal, man. Like, oh, you're going to tell other investors? Let me give you some more money. I was confident in myself. And number two was that she said that she's going to go with me because she was an Asian lady, because she said I did everything that I said I was going to do. I said I was going to give her an offer in less than 24 hours. I did. I said I was going to be there at a certain time, and I showed up early. I said I was going to send her the contract at a certain time, and I did. And so sellers are like looking at these things, right? Now, she had a couple other investors, which I knew locally, and she sent me their contract. They had offered a couple of $1,000s more than I had, right? But she said, Mike, I want you to know that, I shopped her around, but I'm going with you because of your character and because you were patient, and you did everything you said you were going to do, right? And exactly the same thing I did with the BMW guy. Once the BMW sales guy says, okay, we'll accept your offer, then I didn't say, oh, well, let me think about it. Let me talk to my wife. Let me do this. No, bro, I didn't do any of that shit. I did exactly what I said. He said yes. I said, let's pull out the contract, bill of sale. Let's write it up, bro. Right? Got the key and bounce out of there. I didn't like rethink it or let me go think about it. Let me talk to my wife. No. See, if you want to be a good negotiator, you want to get stuff at a discount, you have to be able to pull on that trigger, right? Once the seller agrees, you got to pull on that trigger without any more hesitation. And this is why I said the very first thing is you got to know what you want, right? I wanted a BMW, so I was waiting to wait around over a month, bring $100 in pizza, go and visit this dealership on a multiple times so I could meet everyone over there, so I could build a relationship. They know me by name, so eventually I can get the deal, right? So I was patient and I knew what I wanted. And this is the key. If you want to get anything at a deep discount, you got to be patient, man. You got to be super patient, okay? And if you're in a rush, you can't get a good deal. You can never get a good deal selling stuff or buying stuff if you're in a rush. Now, if you're okay with that, then good for you. But for me, on big ticket items, I want a deep discount. Now, if you're interested in getting stuff for a deep discount, you can go to my realestatedojo.com and download my free course. It's right there. It says start now. You can download it, okay? If you guys are looking for a side hustle while learning real estate investing with small amount of investment, like $150, then best thing is to download go to the new flip and download the new flip, where I teach you how to invest in real estate while making money today, guys. Okay, thank you so much for clicking the like button. Don't take no for an answer, and always remember, you're braver than you believe, smarter than you seem. Sorry guys, I'm kind of tired and I just messed up on that. Anyways guys, have a nice one.